Man, these last couple of days have been crazy. I've gotten like 800 new subs, 900 new subs in the last 2 days, just because of the comments that I've made in the beginning of the videos, just about people that either typically aren't subbed. There's like 50 comments on the last video about how people thought that they were subbed, but they ended up not being, and then they decided to sub to the channel. So just really quick, thank you in the beginning of the video. I appreciate you guys that have been coming to the channel and really supporting it. I really do appreciate it. All right, so this is a video that I'm kind of surprised I've never made before, because one of my passions about sports is the broadcast experience, because I've been to plenty of sporting events in person, but for me, the ideal way for me to watch a game is to sit at home in the comfort of my own home and watch it on TV. And the broadcast experience, and specifically the play-by-play guy, is such a big deal to me, and it's something that, again, I've always been passionate about. And growing up, it's kind of funny, I might be embarrassing myself a little bit here, but whenever I would play video games, basketball or football, whether it was like NBA Courtside on the GameCube or NBA Live or 2K or Madden or even like the 2K football games, I would always do my own commentary, like either in my head or even out loud. Like I would say, oh, back in the shotgun, back to pass, throws right on the slant. You know what I mean? Like I would say that kind of stuff out loud, and I don't really know why. And I think it's because in the back of my mind, I always thought it would be really cool to be a commentator, whether it be on the radio or on TV. I thought it would be so interesting to have my voice be connected to something, right? Like to be the voice of something, which brings us to the topic of today's video, which is Mike Breen, who was recently inducted or is going to be inducted soon into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And so today's video is going to be kind of about, that broadcasting space as a whole, but mostly it's going to be a Mike Breen appreciation video. But before we get to him, a couple of guys that I've always looked up to and really honestly idolized, again, just with their ability to capture a moment and to be connected to a moment forever, are Breen and Ian Eagle. I think those are the two best play-by-play guys. Eagle also does football stuff, and he's really good at that. For a while, Gus Johnson was the guy because he was so excitable and had such energy, and he's still really good when he calls football games. But back when he was calling basketball games, and he had like the big Isaiah Thomas game winner when Isaiah Thomas was at Washington in the conference championship, he has some iconic calls. But the two guys that I've mostly looked up to are Mike Breen and Ian Eagle. And I really believe that broadcast experience is so critical to how successful a league is, because especially the play-by-play guy, they can really elevate or bring down a particular game, particular event, particular moment based off of their performance. And when you think about within the last 10 years in the NBA, if it's a really big, important moment, especially on national TV, especially in the finals, you hear Mike Breen's voice when you think back to that moment. Just think about your favorite national TV moment in the last 10 years in the NBA. I promise you that Mike Breen was calling at least 90% of them. My short list of my favorite calls of all time, you have the Steph half-court shot against Oklahoma City when they were going for 73 wins. I remember I was actually at a party in college. It wasn't anything crazy, but we were all just hanging out and the TV was kind of on in the background. And as the game got closer, we were all starting to watch, and I vividly remember how crazy everybody in the room went when Steph hit the half-court shot. Mike Breen's call was awesome in that game. Then obviously blocked by James in the 2016 finals in Game 7. I was in a Buffalo Wild Wings watching the game, and people went absolutely nuts, really for the entire game, because it was such an iconic thing for LeBron to win a championship for Cleveland. Draymond Green was going nuts at the game. Kyrie hits the shot, but then blocked by James is like the call from that game. There's the Ray Allen shot to steal Game 6 at the 2013 finals, which is as close as a team has ever come to winning the finals without actually winning it. And then the last one, which isn't even a playoff one, and it gets me to my next point about Breen, and it's a Christmas Day game with Carmelo Anthony in the Garden against the Chicago Bulls. He hit a big three late to tie the game in regulation, and then he hit a three to put them up in overtime. And Knicks moment specifically, because obviously Breen calls the local Knicks games for MSG Network in addition to doing the national broadcast for ESPN, ABC, and the finals. But Knicks moment specifically, if you go back and you look at the compilations of Breen, whether it's his signature calls or whatever, he has a little bit more excitement for those Knicks games, right? He's clearly a fan of the team. He's been calling their games forever. He lives in Long Island, and part of me just really, really wishes that at some point before he retires, that the Knicks would have a really great playoff run, or they would have maybe even a finals team and Breen would be able to call the game. And I think that would be such an awesome thing, because you can tell there's just a little bit extra in him when the Knicks are doing well, when he gets to call a great Knicks moment, and he has a couple of those. Now, unfortunately, I can't use any of the audio for the calls in this video. I'll leave a link in the description to a compilation that I found on YouTube that you guys can check out if you really want to look it up. Unfortunately, though, I can't risk it. I have had videos blocked for using video and audio before from the NBA, like straight up not even on YouTube anymore. So I don't want to risk it. I want this video to be out there. But with that said, there's so much more to this than just calling the game, because if you really think about it, like, you really start to understand how difficult this truly is, because you only get one shot at it, right? Like, LeBron James goes up and blocks that shot in the finals, or Kyrie hits the three that puts Cleveland up in the finals, or Steph hits that half-court shot, or Melo hits the shot in overtime to beat the Bulls. You only get one chance, and it's live, and it's right there. And if you mess it up, people are going to remember it forever. If you stumble over your words, people are going to play back that clip and remember it forever and think about how you ruined that moment. Obviously, it's still a great moment for the fans of that team, and it's still going to be memorable depending on how big of a deal it is. But when you look back at it and watch it, it's not going to give you nearly the same feeling. And I cannot remember a single time that Mike Breen has not delivered. And just think about the pressure of that moment. Like, this is LeBron James. This is him potentially winning a title for Cleveland. This is one of the greatest plays in finals history. He chases down Andre Iguodala. He blocks the shot, and your voice doesn't break. You have the correct level of excitement. You have exactly the right words to say, and all of the pressure of that moment is coming down on you, and you deliver every single time. And that's what I will always remember about this guy after he retires, is there was never a moment in which he did not elevate everything else that was going on with his own call and with his voice. And not to mention, it helps to have a signature phrase, and really for him, a couple of them. He's got obviously bang, he's got and it goes down. He's got a couple of different iconic phrases that he goes to, and some of them he saves for specific moments. And there's entire compilations on YouTube of just Mike Breen bang moments, right? And gosh, I can't stop gushing over how incredible of a play-by-play guy Mike Breen has been, and how much of a gift he is to the NBA to be the voice of all of these things, right? Like, honestly, the booth of him and Van Gundy and Mark Jackson I liked for a long time. Recently, it hasn't been as good from the analysis standpoint with Jackson and Van Gundy. But Mike Breen has continued to be fantastic. He has a great rapport with those guys. And again, I just wanted to make this video just as a little bit of appreciation for him as he's being potentially moving forward inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's extremely, extremely well deserved. Like I said, this is something that growing up, I thought maybe I would want to do and maybe would want to pursue, and I never even knew how to begin to do it. And I fully recognize that I probably just wouldn't be very good at it. I don't think I'd be able to handle that pressure very well. I don't go to games in person very often, so I don't really have that level of experience. And honestly, my voice cracks a lot. Like, how old am I? I'm 25 years old. Am I 25? Yeah, I'm 25 years old, and sometimes when I do these videos, my voice cracks and I have to redo a take. And I can't imagine, especially if I'm trying to be really excited about something, my voice will mess up. So I can't imagine LeBron James goes up for a block in the finals and I'm trying to make a call and my voice goes out. Would be the most embarrassing thing ever. But like I said, like, this is someone that I really admire. He's been a professional every step of the way. Everybody that's worked with him has said that he's absolutely fantastic. And at whatever point he does retire and he calls his last game, I'm honestly probably going to cry. This guy has been the voice of the NBA. Like I said, there's other guys that I wanted to point out and shout out. Ian Eagle, Gus Johnson. Ian Eagle, not just because he's the Nets announcer, I think he's the best regional announcer other than Mike Breen in the entire league. And he's so versatile, whether it's football or basketball. He's so good, and he probably deserves his own appreciation post as well. I'm just not sure as many people know him as know Mike Breen. So this is just a big shout out appreciation video for him, talking about that broadcast experience. And again, it's something I'm really passionate about, and I'm surprised I've never talked about this before or had this conversation with y'all about how much I love this, about how growing up I called my own game. And even still, man, like, if I'm playing Madden or I'm playing 2K, I don't say it out loud anymore like I did when I was a kid, but in my head, I'm calling the game. I don't know if anybody else does that, but in my head, I am calling, back in the shotgun, hands it off left side, takes it up the sideline. Like, all that stuff is literally going through my mind. as I'm playing the game. So, and a lot of that stuff, again, just comes from that admiration for these play-by-play guys growing up. And I don't have as much experience with some of the older guys back in the 90s and the 80s and things like that. But in terms of modern announcers, Mike Breen is at the very, very top of the list for me. So I felt like he deserved his own video. And yeah, there you have it. That's going to be the end of today's video. And I thank you all very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. And thanks again as well for all the love with the subs recently. But yeah, I'll see you all next time.